Hey cool cats, Raza Neko here. Do you remember the stories you used to make up as a kid? I've always loved sorting through my markers and crayons by their color, and later on thought, what if the world was like that? Your partner was always someone of the same color as you. Well, they did it! A game focused on colors and a lot of other topics came to the US under the title Olympia Soiree. This game has quite a bit, but per usual, we're going to be going over setting, common route, characters, gameplay, game bonuses, and final thoughts. Olympia Soiree takes place in its own world where everyone has a color and every color has a rank. The primary colors are at the top with yellow, red, and blue. Then there are secondary colors purple, green, and orange, taking second on in command. Any other colors were of lesser value or even worthless. Our main character, Byakuya, is of the color white. Whites were on their own island. On this island, everyone that had a white color was a woman. The women in this island prayed and worshipped the sun goddess, Amaterasu, who would bring up the sun until a red night happened. All of the women but one, Byakuya, was wiped out. She was taken in by a mean and cold Doma and raised there for when she was 5 years old to up to 18. On her 18th birthday, it was her time to find a husband to keep her white colony going, and she can choose anyone from any of the color classes. But she wants to choose someone she falls in love with, genuinely, just like the other women on her island did. So for the first time, she ventures out of Doma's domain and goes on a search. The common route in this game has no choices to make. We follow along with Byakuya as she ventures outside of Doma's domain and discovers some things about the island that she never knew while meeting the love interest. Those of the blue have the power to send people that they turn into crystals to the heavens. Their leader is a woman named Shiruya of the blue. She succeeded her husband, who unfortunately passed away from Haku, and they had no heir. Even though she was a woman, she was able to surpass her late husband and is actually quite a bit intimidating. Those of the red lived on a cursed land that was nearly wiping them out until Ji-Jin, an outsider who washed up on the shore, showed them how to use the land properly, and they prospered from there. The yellow have the power to hear omens coming, and their new leader, Doma, also an outsider, helped make a connection with the sun when the women of the white were wiped out. He was able to tell when the sun was going to go out and have Byakuya go out and dance just as her people did to bring the sun back. Now, when two different colors mix together to produce an offspring, they come out with a shade of the parent or similar color between the two. Our heroine can choose anyone she wants as her husband, because no matter who she mates with, the baby will always turn out female and have white hair. It's a guarantee from her original island. This is very important since it's her people, and their dance and praise for the goddess Amaterasu is what keeps the sun up. Other colors have to mate with people of their own color or close to it, such as orange and red. If anyone strays from that, especially intimately, they're either killed or exiled to Yomi, with the rest of the unsightly colors. Children born from the bad mix are left there in the orphanage as well. Those in Yomi are not able to go up to the surface and use artificial light in order to see in their underground world. In Yomi, there is a bathhouse that some royal colors like to visit due to the environment, services, and food there. There's actually quite a great selection of characters. I'll have to be honest, they're all pretty much classics. First up, we have Riku. He's a man that follows the code of society. You are only to mate with your colors, and only the purest are the best. So he's very strict, but he's also easily flustered. And then we have Tokisada. This option makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but he's technically about 17 and a half, I guess, in this route. He's the youngest option. He also washed ashore as an outsider, someone who came off the island. He's really friendly and super sweet, just like the chocolate mint ice cream in his hand. And then we have Yosuga. Not necessarily the oldest, but pretty much up there, and I would say that he's the flirt or the tease. He actually knows a lot about what's going on behind the scenes, and whether you go down his route or not, usually gives a gentle push in the right direction of the route. And then we have Karuba. Honestly, I didn't really like him at first because he's definitely a flirt and teases a lot, but going down his route I realized he's actually pretty mature and can be silly at times. He's good with kids and doesn't care about the color class. He looks like he's of the yellow class, but technically he is of the black. For some reason, he just wears a lot of yellow. And then we have Himuka, our very shy boy, kind of sad and pretty odd. He's not the bravest of the bunch, but when it comes to the heroine, he definitely will step in and not hold back. And last, but definitely not least, Akaza. He's actually pretty straightforward, and he follows the law even if he doesn't agree to it. He does tend to try to find loopholes in this color class society as much as he can, and will definitely be there to help out his friends. The The gameplay is pretty simple. You read through the common route while making no choices. Near the end, you pick one of the love interests, but can only pick Karuba, Riku, Tokisara, or Yosuga. After you unlock these routes, you get Himuka. After him, you can go through and unlock Akaza's route. When you make a choice, a compass does pop up. When you make a choice headed for a good ending, the compass points to the left with a colorful circle that also glows. When making a bad choice, the compass points towards the right with the same effect. This one's actually pretty cute. One of the things you can see here is what looks like drawers filled with things. But every time you open up, go back out, and then head back in, the characters pop up. And when you keep going back and forth, it'll switch characters, usually the same locations, but it'll change up who's there and who's not. The game gives us CGs, music, glossary, ending and opening videos, and side stories with the characters. This will include going in depth with the main boys and then also interviewing and talking with the side characters. Another thing to happen is that every time you click on something and then go back out in the game, what'll tend to happen is that this logo here will phase out in pixels and should give a quote from one of the characters, good or bad depending on the endings that you've unlocked. I was really for this game when it first came out and played it, stopped again multiple times. As much as I enjoyed the idea of the colors, it didn't last long. The setting and world is good, but the way the story was written, it couldn't keep my attention and I got lost a lot. Nothing about the story pulled me in, wanting me to see more or understand the feel for the characters struggling. I'm trying not to say too much as to not spoil what happens in the game, but if you subscribe now, I'll be releasing a kitty corner video where I make spoiler-filled final thoughts and comments on the game. Setting, 5 out of 5. Love the world, love the art, love the colors. As for the common route, I'd say a 4 out of 5. The heroine went back and forth on being tough or backtracking a lot. As for the characters, 3 out of 5. They're classic characters and a little bit too simple to understand at times, but you can't dislike them. Gameplay, 3 out of 5. It couldn't keep my interest, I got lost in the story, and some parts were not necessary. Game bonuses, 4 out of 5. Usual stuff, nothing fancy, but I did love learning about the side characters, and when there was something I missed about the character, it definitely laid everything out in there. Overall, 3 out of 5. It could have been better. Also, as a side note, this is actually a kind of spicy kind of game. It's a pretty innocent and pure game in the beginning, but definitely has some spicy pieces, personally feeling a little quick, but definitely interesting. I hope you cool cats enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the game down below in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you cool cats next time. Yeah, bye!